Hello and welcome to the latest My First Property Sale video. My name is Marc Shoffman. I'm the editor of Estate Agents Today, and on this episode we're joined by Tommy Newbigging, who is the head of residential sales at Carter Jonas in Suffolk. Do you want to start by introducing yourself, Tommy? Tell us a bit about you.
Sure, yeah, thank you. Good morning. My name is Tommy. I have the privilege of running a Suffolk office for Carter Jonas, national firm up and down the country. I've been at this office for 6 years now. I joined in 2016, and I live about 25 minutes around the corner. So I'm as local as it comes to Suffolk. I was born in the area and very much enjoy, bumbling around country lanes that I do and selling property that I sell. So, yeah.
So how long ago was your first commission, your first sale?
I actually still have the property details of my first sale, and it was a lovely house called The Cottage in Ovington, which is a small village about 10 minutes from the office. Lovely Victorian house, and I sold it to a lovely chap called I think his name is. It completed in December 2016. And that was my first proper kind of deal, seeing it from start to finish. So, yeah.
And so that must have been, I guess, the aftermath of Brexit. Trump had just been voted in.
Exactly. Yeah. 2016 was absolutely, it was a really weird and wonderful year. Having said that, even the more recent years have been weird and wonderful, and all things unpredictable, for good and bad, obviously. But yeah, 2016, from a kind of release of Brexit, a lot of uncertainty, but actually looking back at the figures for 2016, billings wise as an office perspective and prices for clients, was actually a very good year. But yes, getting it, also the great joy I had was getting it sold and completed just before Christmas for obviously the new buyer. So I was really chuffed about that.
So, how did it feel getting that first sale? Was the Christmas deadline that key challenge, or what else?
Yeah, I think, yes. I think, the natural conveyancing period is, 10 to 12 weeks. But really, when you set your hopes, when you look to agree a deal kind of prior to Christmas, everyone wants that milestone. Our client wanted that milestone, and therefore I wanted to go and achieve that. And obviously the buyers would want that, their new home. So it was a wonderful feeling, kind of reflecting on it. It never gets any more the same as such. Every time I put something together for a client, it always gives me that same feeling and that same reward. And really it's about striving to do the best for our client base. Personally, obviously it was a great feeling, being rewarded for the hard work. We tend to earn our fee actually between the conveyancing period. It's not actually selling the property. That's the fun part. It's then chasing it to an exchange, which is more difficult. But it was and always is a wonderful moment when you can release the keys, phone your client up and say well done, and put everyone onto their new chapter. So.
And were you nervous on your first sale, or what was the sort of feeling?
Yeah, I think, the seriousness of this job, I think, is sometimes not necessarily seen. And I think some agents treat it more seriously than others. Myself and Carter Jonas as a firm, I think I've got a wonderful brand presence, and we're very much dealing with people's treasured, family homes that have been so for decades. So that pressure is always on, but actually it's about whether you thrive in said pressure. And luckily, on the whole, I'd like to think that I'm one that steps up to the challenge. But in terms of the general kind of logistics of doing a viewing and then, selling the property and moving it to an exchange and dealing with things that maybe came up within that process was obviously all new to me, at a young age. But with a wonderful kind of support structure within the office at the time, it led to a very successful outcome, and yeah, despite the nerves, I'd like to say I kept a pretty cool head and a measured response at all times. Again, for the benefit of for all involved.
And how, sort of 6 years on, then how have things changed? Like, has it got easier?
Yeah. I think I would say, probably it has got easier. I think you learn to. It's a very stressful part for both buyer and seller, and really my job is to appease that and try and either problem solve, find solutions, and push it along, and it's a case of you do that constantly, and every day we're doing that. You come across all sorts of indemnity policies, covenants, overages, all these weird and wonderful things that come with properties, and especially in our nature. You soon develop a very good knowledge of how to resolve these points, and get it done. So yeah, it has got easier, and my experience has obviously naturally grown. Personally, it's grown from being a sales negotiator right through to now running the office. 6 years on, I've been doing so for the last 2. So it's been a real kind of baptism of fire. But from an office perspective, we've been achieving some wonderful results for our client base. So we're thrilled.
Okay, Tommy Newbigging, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.